Hello, welcome to another episode of the Horror Vision Horror Podcast. My name is Clowny McClownerson,
And I'm still just Missy.
and we're going to talk about a new movie called Corn in a Clownfield that just opened today. I had that backwards. It's Clown in a Cornfield. It's based on a novel by Adam Cesare, directed by Eli Craig, who I think most people will know from Tucker and Dale versus Evil 2010. Still an absolute fucking masterpiece, in my opinion. I watch it at
Oh
least
yeah.
once a year.
Yeah, I love that one.
I think that was a good pairing for this. So Missy and I both read the book. Missy's actually read two of the books now.
Yeah.
So we're going to go spoiler free for a little bit, tell you what we think, if it's worth your time, and then we're going to do some comparisons. What did you think of Clown in the Corn? Now I
Clown
did
in a
it.
cornfield.
I did it earlier today as a joke, and now I keep doing it not as a joke. My brain was like, okay, I'll take that and use that. And I'm like, no brain, bad brain.
Okay.
What did you think of Clown
Clown
in a Cornfield?
clown in a cornfield. I enjoyed it. Uh I mean, I don't think it's anything groundbreaking, but I think the movie's fun. I did read the first two books. While they did change a good bit in the film from the first book, most of it just kind of works to speed things up.
Hmm.
Um and because my biggest hang up with the first book is that it's very slow and has a lot of setup. And
Yeah.
the movie it still hit the points to give us that setup, but it did it much quicker than it did in the book. Once it gets rolling, I think it's a fun popcorn flick. Now, granted, I love slashers. I really like I love the formula. The formula is just comforting to me.
Yeah. Hmm.
I mean, I like when you can mix things up and surprise me, but I mean, I generally can put on a slasher and know that I'm going to at least get some kind of enjoyment out of it, whether it's a great one or, something basic. That said, I think it's fun. If you're a huge fan of the book and you're like really attached to it, they do change things, but I don't think they change the heart of the story.
They definitely
Just
don't change the heart of it at
Yeah,
all.
they
Yeah, I
don't
agree
change
with
the heart
that.
of the story. They change things that kind of simplify some of the setup stuff to, very quick scenes. And I think it actually works in its favor. I like the movie better than I like the first book.
Okay.
That said, I have also read the second book and I like that much better than both the first book and the movie.
Okay.
But I mean, I think if you like slashers, I think you can enjoy this. I mean, it's a basic body count slasher, you know, killer clowns in a cornfield killing teenagers, but it's fun enough. I was never bored. It's a nice, snappy 90 minutes.
Hmm.
I mean, and I think that it tells its story relatively effectively. You know, the performances are not bad. Like, there's nothing about it that is really bad. It's solid. It's it's solid and basic, but I think it's fun enough.
Yeah, I think that's a good assessment for sure. Uh, it, you know, so Kirsten has not read the book, so she saw the movie with me, and she was like, it didn't blow me away, but it was entertaining. It was a good popcorn flick. I think that they definitely like when it starts. I was like, okay, we're already very different than the book. We'll get in that a little bit,
Hmm.
but I was like, that's good because I do agree. Like, I think the book is extremely well written. Like, it's very, very good prose, good
Hmm.
structure. Like, it's very well done. But there's something. It's so odd. It's like it's so well done. It's so solid, like you say, right? It's like dependable that it
Yeah,
kind of doesn't wow me, which it doesn't,
right.
I mean, fuck me, it doesn't need to wow me, but I'm just saying, like, for somebody especially for, this is going to be geared towards younger kids, they're going to be maybe blown away. Now, I will say, I do think the reason this got pushed into a film probably has something to do with the popularity of art and Terrifier. And anybody that's a big Terrifier fan, because I see a lot of younger
Hmm.
people that are really rabid Terrifier fans. I don't know that this is going to do it for him, right?
Yeah.
So maybe not, but I think there's teenagers that like know what a slasher film is. Maybe they've seen some of mom or dad's Friday the 13th or whatever, Nightmare on Elm Street here or there, but this could be their
Mhm.
version, and I think it's completely, serviceable in that fashion. I certainly like this a hell of a lot more than a couple other slashers that we've seen so far this year that'll remain nameless. I enjoyed it. It was a fine, like you said, 90 minutes, snappy. The one thing though, and I should have asked Kirsten this. I asked her a couple things because you and I going into this knowing the beats from the book. Like for one thing, I felt like it was almost too snappy. I felt like I was like,
A little bit, because there's one thing I'm a little upset about when we go into, like spoiler comparison kind of stuff.
there's a couple things that were excluded or revealed
Mm-hmm.
early that I was like, okay. But overall, I think the changes were good, but I just gotta wonder, like, I don't know, for somebody that didn't read the book, would this feel like too snappy?
Yeah, I don't think so. But
It felt so like by the time we get to the crossbows, I was like, is that happening already? Like I felt like what are we? I think we're missing stuff. I don't know.
hmm well, but then all right, our buddy Chris went with me um to see it, and he has not read the books. And
Hmm.
he actually felt that the movie still started a bit slow, and I said, dude, I this didn't I mean, they the original book, nobody dies until like page 117, and it's a 300-page book. So,
Yeah, and it's a bizarre thing where like most slashers, there's a kill right up front.
right.
It's a trope. Like if you read My Heart, It's a Chainsaw. You can see him like window dressing that opening kill with the Swedish people
hmm
because he's like, my book is about the tropes of the genre. Here's the opening trope. We do this, right? This is what
Right.
we do. And in the book, somebody slips and falls and dies, and it has nothing to do with anything. So 117 pages later, you get to. But I remember reading it. I just read it like last month. You read it faster than me, and I was just like, man, it's well written. But I'm like, I don't. I'm starting to not give a shit about like the town and the people and their relationships. Like, I mean, come on, I'm not somebody that needs blood right away, but like, oh my god, it took a bit.
Well, it did. I mean, and I agree. It is a well-written book, and I like the first book. I'd say I love the second one. I have not read
Okay.
the third one. Um, but I like the first book. The hardest thing that I had with it is because of the way I prefer to engage with stories, films, books, whatever. It is easiest for me to immerse and take the ride if I have a character I can connect with. And all when you're reading the book, a lot of these people, you don't spend a lot of time with them. They're just kind of archetypes, tropes,
Yeah.
whatever. And nobody stood out to me until somebody did, and we don't get that person till
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
And once I found that, I could I could connect with it. And, not that I have to do that, but for me to love something, I usually have to.
Right. Yeah. And when you were ahead of me in the book, and I remember when you said, okay, there was some reference where I kind of knew where you were, and you referencing, I knew the character right away. I'm like, okay, okay, so I know, okay, I know what characters you knew right away. I knew who you connected with,
hmm
and while we do get a brief glimpse of them very early in the book, not very early, but somewhat early,
We don't see
it's
them again till later.
yeah, and you get nothing to latch onto with that character until later. So,
And
uh,
I mean, when we meet that person in the beginning, like I knew that I just had a feeling. It's like, okay, this person is probably gonna end up being one of the leads, and this
well,
will be
he's a
my ride.
trope too, right? I mean, the
Yeah,
way
of
they
course.
everything about it is a trope.
hmm
You know,
You can tell that Adam Cesare he's one of us.
yeah.
He loves this stuff. And he's playing with the tropes. And I mean, I would definitely be willing to try more of his stuff.
Hmm.
but he doesn't uh, like it. I've read two of his books. I think one is solid, one I really, really liked.
Hmm.
But I mean, he's no Stephen Graham Jones or Ivy Tholen for me.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't need to be. He's got a
He
distinct
doesn't need to
voice.
be. He hasn't grabbed me yet.
Yeah, the
Like
two people you just mentioned grabbed both
I
of
can,
us with something, right?
mhm.
Like grabbed and like we can't let go.
And I can read any of that stuff at any time and have no problem getting into it. This was a little harder, but he's got a bunch of books. I looked them up, and there are a couple that sound like there's one called Video Night that I really want to check out.
He does have a lot of books, and he's a great writer. I mean, it's really solid prose. It's very well written. Um,
And when he takes the like book two will continue with some of the characters that we have in this one. And when we go into that, he gets a lot more into the character development.
okay,
Whereas this, I feel like uh part of my issue with it was that he spent so much time laying groundwork in the novel before we got to anything. It was, it felt a little trudgy, but once I hit the big party where everything starts to happen, then it was fun. So I was happy that the movie kind of,
yeah,
you kind of had all the setup was kind of laid out, boom, 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 in the first like 20-30 minutes, and then you get right to the meat of it. And I mean, I think it's fun. If you're like this past week has been crappy, and I was happy to just sit down for 90 minutes and chill out.
yeah,
Like, it made me laugh. It had a couple good deaths. It was, you know, I liked it.
yeah. I would say go see it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you though that they're really pushing the crowd clown to the Terrifier crowd, and this isn't that at all.
No, not at
At
all.
all. This is a campy body count slasher. It does feature killer clowns, but it's nothing like art. Now, I mean, I like the Terrifier movies too. I like slasher movies. Um, but this is a very different animal. It's a
Yeah, I know. Alex on Beyond the Void. He posted a video. I haven't watched yet because a lot of times I just don't want to watch anything before I see the movie. Like there's
right.
an article in
Same.
Fangoria from that came out last month. I haven't read that yet because I just don't want to know. I want to know as little as possible. But Alex posted something about like uh, he got to see this at a drive-in theater, I think, and
Ooh, yeah.
it seemed like he was blown away by it, just like the blurb or whatever I saw. So that if you could see that, that would definitely enhance the experience.
The movie opened a week early. I remember reading about this last week, and I was bummed because I don't have any drive-ins. Because this is perfect for that kind of setting.
Yes, I
Like
agreed.
it would be amazing in that kind of setting.
Agreed. Optimum. That is your optimum theater for sure. Uh, let's get into the kind of so this is going to be spoiler country. We'll run the chainsaw, go into the comparisons for those that have read the book and seen the movie, or if you've seen the movie and you probably aren't going to read the book, shame on you. You should, but this will kind of break down what you missed. So, chainsaw. So right off the bat, like the opening of the book I mean, these teenagers in the town are all YouTubers and they're fucking around at their diving spot, and
It's like a
the
quarry.
a
It's like a
quarry
big old
and
quarry where everybody meets up and
yeah, parties and Cole's younger sister is showing off for the camera and dies. And that's the only death for 117 pages.
right. Yeah, she jumps to dive into the quarry and she hits her head and she dies.
And they reference that like a third of the way into the movie, and they just reference it,
And they
and
just reference it. And it was
that's
perfect.
it.
It told you everything you needed to know.
Agreed.
I was actually very thankful for that because that opening sequence in the book, it just felt very long. And it's like, okay, what does this like? Is this the setup for the big event that causes the slashers? Like, she fell off a cliff. It wasn't anybody's fault. She was a drunk teenage girl that jumped and hit her head.
Yeah, and it is kind of the event in a way that sets up the
Right.
slashing, right? In a way,
In
but
a
and
way,
I respect him for writing it the way he wrote it.
but but for the movie, this works fine.
It would have never worked for the movie. So that was the
No.
first thing going in. I'm like, what are they going to do? And so instead, they open in 1991, and we get like what you get in a slasher.
Yeah, you get an opening kill.
What'd you think about that?
I think it worked better. Overall, I think it's a fun story. I think the film, the things they omit and change actually make it flow better as a slasher movie. I think that might be part of what felt a little clunky for us because we're like, as previously mentioned, we both love books by Stephen Graham Jones and Ivy Tholen, and both of those writers, while they have totally different voices, when I read their books, they are movies in my head, and I am watching it on a screen, complete with pops and crackles and everything.
Yep.
Um, these, like, he's definitely referencing movies and leaning into the tropes. It slightly misses the mark, I think.
Yeah, the book. So it needed help convert, and also he may have just been writing his book the way he wanted to write it, and not really worrying so much about adhering to the actual
Mm-hmm.
slasher kind of beats. I mean, they're there, but they're not in a way, and so that's
Mm-hmm.
fine too. But to make it into the movie, they definitely like quantized it to the slasher beats. And am I wrong? Is the group of friends smaller in the movie than it is in the book?
It is.
It is because there's another. Now, this is seriously. If you've not watched the movie, at the very least, don't listen to this because I'm going to go. This is a
Right.
big spoiler, but in the book, it turns out that one couple out of the friends group is in on it and basically like are pardoned from the culling of their
Right. They're bad
class.
crop.
Yeah, the bad crop by basically working to help arrange the deaths. And that's not here. And I wondered for a minute if Janet was, if they were, oh, is it just going to be Janet? But then, no, it's not Janet. So that was interesting. Is that the thing you were referencing that you were disappointed it was left out?
No,
Okay.
no. The two things that I was disappointed, um, in the book, all right, the Rust character, the kind of outcast survivalist kind of I just want to do my own thing character. He uh he gets a lot of screen time in the book. Once the party starts
Yeah.
and him and Quinn are fighting through all of this through the whole
Yeah,
book,
that's true.
and he's teaching her stuff. I mean, again, major spoilers. We've warned you. After they survive, Quinn Quinn and Rust continue to train and practice and prepare. Like, she learns to fight. He teaches her a whole bunch of stuff, and that carries into the second book. This happens a lot to me because I tend to latch on to not necessarily the focus character, but a lot of times the stuff I like best in the book is what ends up getting trimmed out of the movie.
Hmm.
He still gets his moments,
But they're few and far between.
right? But it's reduced, and like in the book, he's very important. He saves all of them, and he's a badass.
That's a good point too, because actually in the movie now I'm thinking about it, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like he's less a character than he is kind of a like Dos Ex Machina, where it's like he shows up and shoots somebody at the right moment, but then disappears again for a long period of
Hmm.
time, and then kind of does the same thing again. And it's like, okay, I really genuinely like the character as well. So his absence was very noticeable to me
Yeah,
throughout the kind of second act, madness,
right.
slaughter. I'm
The
like, where
second
the fuck is he? Where is he?
in the second act of the book, he is one of your leads. He's very important. And actually, the other thing that bothers me is and it involves him again. The scene in the movie where Cole is his father is hanging him in the
Hmm.
barn, and all the friendos are gathered and everything, and he's he's hanging. There's nothing to put his feet on, and Rust drives through a wall and pulls his car up right underneath him. He saves Cole, not
Yeah,
her
yeah.
father. I mean, Quinn's father is not there. He's fighting his own battles in the book.
Well, and so they had to streamline that too. So they do that completely differently because he gets basically abducted in the book, right? And he
Hmm.
finds the body of the doctor who moved that he replaced, right?
Right.
Um, so they totally changed that, and like I get it, out of necessity, they didn't have time for that secondary story to be as
Hmm.
in depth as it was in the book. So that's fine.
Well, they could have
Um,
had Dad do something else, though.
that's true, but it did work. But I agree.
It's important to where their characters go that he saves Cole.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, yeah. Well, so that goes into the other thing. So the biggest smile on my face, where I was like, "You got me. I didn't see that coming." In the book, is the fact that Cole and Rust are gay,
Hmm. It is one of my favorite things about the story.
and the way that it happens, where like after he saves him and he hugs him,
Hmm.
and then it's like from the female perspective, they're like, "Oh, he's hugging. Oh, wait, he's more than hugging him," or however it goes. But it's
Well,
like,
first
"Oh,
she
it's
thinks he's given mouth to mouth,
that's
and
it.
then
That's it.
realizes she's like, "Oh, he's not breathing. He's giving him
That's
mouth to
it."
mouth," and then she realizes that they're kissing, and all of that is one thing that Adam Cesare does so well in the book. And one
Yeah.
of the things I love that I really liked about it is that through the whole thing, at first it's kind of set up. It looks like they're gonna do the stupid, the love triangle kind of
Hmm.
trope where the new girl moves in, and you know
This
the
guy likes her. This
the
guy likes
loner
her.
outsider guy likes her, and then the popular guy everybody likes her, and it's going to go back and forth, and she won't be able to. They don't do any of that. It slightly seems like that's what they're setting up in the beginning, and then as the story unfolds, you realize that Rust and Cole used to be best friends and were very close, and you know and are actually in love with each other.
Yeah, and it's a very natural,
Hmm.
but well concealed, well played. Adam Caesar does it very well. It's
He does it
very,
very,
very
very
well.
well.
And
I
the
didn't see it
movie, they
coming
reveal it
at all.
so early, like
Yeah,
so early, and I was just like, oh, okay.
but
I feel like that would have been funner had you done it later, but I guess I don't know. But they just didn't have room for it later in the script. You could
right,
tell.
right. So they reduced it, and I mean, I wasn't upset that they did that, but yeah,
It's not as
it's
good.
fun. No, it's funner in the book because I was really surprised about it,
I was
and then when you think
shocked.
about it, it's like it was there the whole time.
It was there the whole time, and I there's a couple things too. Like the first thing I asked Kirsten was, okay, when did you know that it was the town elders? Because I felt like it was, and I didn't feel like this in the book. In the book, there's the same, very similar interactions. You got the teacher,
Hmm.
the waitress, the sheriff, whatever, and they make comments about like this generation or whatever. But
Hmm.
it's the way people talk. It doesn't see. So when it all comes together at the end, it's like, oh, that's another thing he does really well. The movie,
Right.
I felt like it was so fucking obvious, like they were telegraphing it, but I don't know if
Hmm.
that's because I read the book, you know what I mean? So I asked Kirsten, she's like, well, I mean, of course, like she knew there were multiple clowns because she's like, well, the body types were totally different. I'm like, of course, because she
Okay. See
notices shit
that
like that.
when I read the book, that completely surprised me. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Now the thing about the town and the way they were treating the kids and everything, um, it immediately reminded me of I'm a huge Supernatural fan. And there is an episode in season one of Supernatural where the brothers are investigating these disappearances
Hmm.
in this weird town with a scarecrow, and it's this kind of thing where once a year they have to sacrifice people, and they do it, and it's like the town elders, and they do it for the greater good, for the good of the town. And it's like I saw that all over this,
Hmm.
but it didn't click for me until, because in the book at first you really think it's one clown, and then it's
Yeah.
revealed that that when they unmask the first dead clown, it's the teacher,
Yeah.
Mr. Vern. And then 5 minutes later, it's like, oh fuck, there are a zillion friendos coming out of nowhere. Of course, Kirsten would pay attention to like body type and stuff, because I
Yeah.
was just surprised that it's like, oh shit, there are lots of these. Oh, so and that's when I'm like, oh well, there has been this weird shit in the town, so it's probably the
Right.
adults,
Right.
and I thought they were like sacrificing them. But again, here I mean, they're trying to convert it into a 90-minute snappy slasher, and I think they do it pretty well.
I think they do it pretty well. So I mean, if we're going to compare I mean, when you're going to compare the book and the movie, usually the book wins. Here, I think there's equal things on both sides where you could
Yes,
say, in this respect, this wins, in this respect, this wins. They kind of both hold their own. Um, Let me ask you, so they outright in this one, because of the opening scene in 1991 that's not in the book, when Cole's dad does his kind of speech or whatever, he references right away, oh, every so many years in the 30s, in the 60s, in the 90s, whatever.
uh-huh.
That's not in the book, right? The
I
book,
don't
it's
know.
like
I
this
don't
is
think so.
it appears to be the first time that it's happened, but I'm
Right.
wondering if, because the only thing I know about the second book is that the cult of Friendo, so I'm assuming it spreads or is related to something in other parts of the world. So is there that idea in there that it is a cyclical thing?
Kind of. The second one, without getting, the basic setup for the second one, it feels very scream screamy. It's like
Hmm.
a lot like one of the later Scream movies. Um, Quinn goes to college back in Philadelphia. She goes back to her hometown. Um, her Rust and Cole are her best friends, and they're a couple. And they're coming to visit her in Philadelphia for the weekend, or for spring break, or the weekend, or whatever. They're gonna get Philly cheesesteaks and do touristy stuff. And when all three of the survivors are together, like this shit's been all over the internet. People are recognizing them. These weird kind of creepy militant groups start showing up in town, and then shit starts to snowball.
Okay,
And
okay.
the Arthur Hill character, he definitely is feeding feeding this stuff and building his own friendo cult. The second book is great. I had no problem. Like I got into that immediately and enjoyed the ride from beginning to end. But it's very character focused, and I'm extremely character driven. And it's very character focused on the big three, the three survivors.
I will read that eventually.
I have
I'm
not read part three yet. I'm going to. I will. I haven't yet. Um,
I
but
definitely I would recommend I definitely say, look, most people are going to see the movie before they're going to read the book. If you're a reader,
right,
grab it. Um, go see the movie. You're going to have a good time. And if you dig it, read the fucking book. And
right,
if you dig the book, read the second one. And hopefully this will do good and it'll spawn a sequel. I'm not super invested, but I hope good, I want good things for Adam Cesare. I think he's a good writer, and I mean, more slashers in the world is not a bad thing.
right. Like it's everything about it is very solid, both the book and the movie. And I think he just needs time to build, because I feel like the second book is a real banger.
Well, that's corn in a clown field.
Or Clown in a Cornfield.
That's the alternate title. Um, I completely broke my brain with this, but yeah, check it out. And Adam Cesare, we wish you the best. Keep going. And it's a Horror Vision. I'm Sean.
And I'm Missy.
Hapless teenagers beset by demons in the woods. A strange new drug that turns art into murder. A can't beat a deal on a new house with a horrifying past. A video game that might usher in the apocalypse. From the demented mind of Sean C. Baker, author of A Collection of Desires, Shadow Play, and Murder Virus, comes Volume 4, collecting Baker's no sleep work along with several never-before-published short stories. This 99-cent volume also includes the opening chapter of the author's forthcoming teenage giallo novel, Black Gloves and Broken Hearts, due out later this year.